Good afternoon. Kia ora koutou. Ko Angela Caves tōku ingoa, nō mai haere mai. Welcome to the Tai Tokerau Northland Business Growth and Support Virtual Conference. My name is Angela Caves and I'm the Partnership and Events Lead for Digital Boost. It is my pleasure to be hosting you this afternoon. This is day 3 of our conference. We're into session 2 of day 3. We've had 2 wonderful afternoons starting Tuesday and then again yesterday. If you'd like to watch any of our previous sessions, we will be distributing a link to you. Welcome to our audience who have joined us here in the webinar. It's lovely to have you, and a warm welcome to anybody who is viewing via live stream on either Facebook, LinkedIn or YouTube. On the webinar with me, I have my collaborating partner, Rich Volkman from connected.govt.nz. Rich is an employment liaison advisor who is based in the Northland region. Welcome, Rich. I'm going to hand over to you, take us through some webinar housekeeping and then introduce our wonderful guest presenters. Thanks.
Good, Angela. Thank you for that. And no mai haere mai to all our viewers for this session on day 3 of our Connected Digital Boost Conference. For those of you who are joining us in this webinar, you can hear and see us, but we can't actually see or hear you. So if you do have any questions throughout the session, please just use the Q&A function available. And towards the end of the session, I will pop back in and we'll go through some of those questions together with our presenters. Our session is also being recorded, so for any of you who can't actually watch the session live, you'll also, if you have registered, you will be emailed a link to watch at a later date, or you can go to the YouTube playlist on the Digital Boost channel for post-event viewing as well. It is my pleasure to introduce you to our presenters for this session. We do have Paul Tukukino and Missy Armstrong from Amotai joining us. Kia ora koroa. Welcome to you both.
Kia ora. Kia ora.
Great to have you guys here. I'll hand things over to you guys now, and towards the end of the session, I'll pop back in and we'll go through some Q&A. Over to you.
I te ti e te tāho mai te waiora tēnā koutou katoa e ngā uri, e ngā tangata o te hiku o te ika, te Tai Tokerau, nau mai hara mai, whakatau mai rāraro i te kauro ai o Amotai. Ko waiau e kōrero ana, ko Paul Tukukino tōku ingoa, he uri hau no te tai rāwhiti, me hauraki, me waikato, me ngā te kahununu hoki. I noho anau ki tauranga moana i nāianei. Ko au te manuhuia, mo Amotai or Supplier Diversity Lead, tēnā koutou. Kia ora everybody, my name is Paul Tukukino. I've been working closely with Angela in the last couple of Digital Boost series, presenting the kaupapa of Amotai. And with me today, I have our Regional Supplier Diversity Lead, Missy Armstrong. She's probably very well known to a lot of you in the Tai Tokerau, but I'll hand some time over to her just to introduce herself as well. Kia ora, Miss.
Kia ora, Paulie. Tēnā koutou katoa, ko Missy Armstrong tōku ingoa. He uri a hau no Ngāti Hau, Ngāti Kaharau, Ngāti Tahu, Ngāti Whawa. E noho anau i whangarei, ko au te manu huia o Amotai. Ai, tēnā koutou. Kia ora.
Kapai whānau. Well, we're really excited to be here with you this afternoon and to share the kaupapa of what Amotai is all about. So we have a presentation prepared and we'll look forward to taking you through that now. So I guess first off and foremost, Amotai. The name in itself talks to a swelling or a rising of the tides. And so Amotai is a kaupapa that was born about 2 years ago. We just turned 2 in October. And basically, it was an expansion of a kaupapa that was happening in South Auckland called He Waka Eke Noa, which focused on bringing Māori and Pacifica businesses closer and more equitable opportunity to government and council, more importantly, council, more focused on council tendering opportunities. And so Amotai is now a nationwide kaupapa. It has grown from He Waka Eke Noa, and we now have, I think, about seven supplier diversity leads like myself and Missy outside of Auckland that look after our whānau, our Māori Pacifica businesses throughout the motu. So that's a bit of a kōrero around the origins of Amotai. And basically, we deal in a space, a very specific space of social procurement. So I'm going to do a bit of a a kōrero around social procurement, because we hear that word a lot. It's a bit of a buzzword throughout government, and social procurement in a way talks about it's about raising social outcomes, social benefits through different levers throughout the community. And one, as you can see here all the various levers that social procurement covers. And as you can see in the far right side there, Amotai, we deal very specifically in supplier diversity and supplier development. And what that means is that we actually deal specifically with businesses in the Māori and Pacifica space. And so with the businesses, we don't do the skills and training, we don't do the recruitment into businesses, but we help businesses to look at opportunities for contracts and increasing their projects that they're able to get in front of government and private contractors. And so that's the very specific space that Amotai play in regards to social procurement, is the supplier diversity and supplier development side of things. And it all kind of stemmed out of a policy that was put into play a couple of years ago called the Progressive Procurement Policy. And in that policy, it talked about government agencies being mandated to ensure that at least 5% of contracts that they have are awarded to Māori businesses. And so we are here to help bring that policy to fruition. And we do that in a range of ways. But I think we've got a really cool video that helps explain very simply what we do. So we're just going to watch this movie for a quick 3 minutes.
Supplier diversity is a global practice. Here in Aotearoa, our experience is that Māori and Pacifica businesses are the untapped change agents in creating a more inclusive and more sustainable New Zealand economy. Business is one of the main ways Māori and Pacifica can build wealth for their families and communities. That's why we advocate for supplier diversity, getting more Māori and Pacifica businesses contract opportunities with government agencies, local councils, private enterprises, iwi and other not-for-profit organisations. Supplier diversity is a strategic and intentional business process that proactively engages, supports and enables businesses owned by Indigenous people, minority groups, women and social enterprises to be engaged in business-to-business supply chains. Here in Aotearoa, supplier diversity specifically focuses on Māori and Pacifica businesses. Its aim is to level the playing field so these businesses have fairer access to customers and markets. By diversifying your spend, you open up incredible benefits not just for the organisations you contract, but for your own organisation as well. Supplier diversity enables this to happen and supports economic development not just for Māori and Pacifica communities, but for Aotearoa as a whole. When Māori and Pacifica communities prosper, we all prosper. A Māori business is a business that has at least 50% shareholdings by someone who has whakapapa Māori. A Pacifica business is a business that has at least 50% shareholdings held by someone who has Indigenous whakapapa links to the Pacifica nations. Supplier diversity helps to close the wealth gap in Aotearoa, create more employment opportunities for Māori and Pacifica people, create more Māori and Pacifica role models, grow more Māori and Pacifica businesses, drive innovation, and much more. Creating quality supplier diversity programs is also a major competitive advantage and can lead to winning more work, accessing new revenue streams and new markets. So, how does it work? Amotai is the supplier diversity intermediary and experts in supplier diversity in Aotearoa. We connect Māori and Pacifica businesses to contract opportunities. Māori and Pacifica businesses register with Amotai for free. Their business ownership is verified by our verification team, and we connect with each business to learn more about their services and business journey. Buyers that want to buy from Māori and Pacifica businesses subscribe to Amotai and can choose the level of support they require to connect and purchase from Amotai businesses. Having one verified database makes it easy for buying organisations to search for Māori and Pacifica businesses by region and category of work, and purchase from those businesses. Supplier diversity creates a more inclusive and more sustainable New Zealand economy. The tide is turning. Join Amotai, Supplier Diversity Aotearoa.
Beautiful. So if we get back to no. Not there. There we go. Oh, she's here. Shop. Sorry. Just kind of progressing on from that after the video. So yeah, very simple and easy video that we share with a lot of people to help them understand what supply diversity is all about. And as I mentioned, we've been around for just 2 years now, and this is a bit of the journey that we've been able to go on in the last 2 years with our supply diversity space. And so, you know, we can see some of the projects that we've been able to connect our Māori Pacifica suppliers to, you know, the contract holders of these contracts. Some that I've been involved in and Missy has been involved in there at the latter part of last year was Tai Tokerau Kāinga order builds, and we'll hear a bit about from Miss from that later on. Te Reo and Tikanga with MB and also with MSD, and also Ministry of Education have a lot of projects that they run through us as well. So it's just kind of highlighting the journey that we've been on, and it's only the beginning, which is the exciting part. We're really looking forward to, as we continue to work with and educate our buyers, the projects keep coming. So we're getting more and more projects as we continue to, you know, take this kaupapa out to everybody. So from the video, here's a quick couple of snapshots around what we actually do. So you would have heard there that we provide support to buyers. So the buyers are the government agencies, the private organizations, the tier one companies that usually get those big, you know, $100 million, $150 million contracts. And so we work with them to help them unlock their supply chain and include supply diversity. We also, as you talked about, we talked about verifying Māori businesses. And so we do a process with our businesses where we ensure that their shareholding is held by owners that have at least 50% whakapapa. Oh, sorry, they have whakapapa Māori or Pacifica and own at least 50% shareholding of the business. And so that's something that government values from us, because their policy states that the description or the the description or the what are the criteria? The criteria for a Māori or Pacifica business is to be 50% owned, and we have our processes within that to help us verify our Māori and Pacifica businesses, so that our government buyers can, you know, procure with trust and with safety to know they're getting Māori-owned businesses. And then we work with a lot of partners. We hold a very specific lane with Amotai, but we have a lot of partners that we work with to build the capability, the capacity, and to continue to connect. A lot of those partners have been on this Digital Boost conference, so you would have heard from them as well. A bit of a snapshot to our supplier insight. So with all of our suppliers, we have 1,450 businesses. Goal to get that to 1,500 before the end of the year, hopefully over 1,500. We have about 11 employees per business and 1,500 FTEs, or 15,000 FTEs across our businesses. And we saw there that a lot of our Māori businesses, Pacifica businesses, they hire a lot of their own, a lot of their whānau or their nephew or their niece or, you know, their friend's son or daughter. And so we see that our Māori businesses also increase the Māori employment opportunities for our Māori Pacifica communities. Then we move on to our second group of stakeholders that we engage regularly, which is our buyers. And as you can see here, these are some of the buyers that we engage. Missy, she has some key buyers that she looks after. I myself have some key buyers that I look after. And we work with them to help expand their supplier list or their supplier database. We work with them to help unpack and make their tender opportunities more equitable and more relevant or easier to go through for our Māori and Pacifica businesses. And so you can see here, got a few construction, we've got some professional services, and then, as mentioned, we do a lot of work with our government agencies as well. The final bit of stakeholders that we work with, which you may have met a lot of on this this conference, are our Māori Business Network. So that's where you may have seen Missy yesterday. Our iwi, we do a lot with our iwi and bring our expertise to iwi. Potama Trust, they help fund a lot of the things that the initiatives, or we refer our business on for capability uplift to Potama. Māori Trusts, local councils, Chamber of Commerce. So all of these partners that we work with closely are there to build and support the capability and the growth and capacity of our Māori businesses. So we work very closely with those people as well. And then here, this is how we practically do it. You're thinking, okay, so buyers, suppliers, Amotai, how does this actually work? So this is an event that we held earlier this year in Auckland, and it was up there. We had 15 buyers in the room, as you can see, their flags and things there, and we had all of our Auckland suppliers come through the night. And so this is a shot with all the wahine in our team, plus one of our buyers, Becca, nationwide, one of Missy's buyers actually. But that's what we do. And I just flew back from Wellington on Saturday morning after hosting another one of these events down there in Wellington. It was the first of its kind to bring our buyers from Amotai and our suppliers from Amotai in that region together. So that's how we allow you to build the relationship with our buyers directly, face to face, kanohi ki te kanohi. That's a Māori practice or a tikanga Māori that we hold very dear. And so great to have our digital spaces, but to be able to be in the room and have a glass of wine or a kōrero with our buyers is what we're trying to get our suppliers involved in. So I'm going to hand the time over to Missy for this one. This is one of Missy's suppliers, and it's basically a bit of a case study she'll be able to download. So all yours, Miss. Is she there?
You're on mute there, Missy.
I have one job and I can't get it right. Apologies. This is one of the businesses I worked with last year. So we have our supplier database up in Tai Tokerau, and we've got almost 150 businesses on our Tai Tokerau Māori Pacifica database. My job is to unlock opportunities with the buyers, the government and corporates, to introduce our suppliers. With Reed Builders, David Reed is from Moerewa. He started on the tools when he was 15 and then started his Reed Builders company in 2014. He's now got 45 staff, contracts to another 40. He operates up in the far north, right through down to Auckland and into Hawke's Bay. So he's an incredible supplier that I was able to introduce to one of our buyers last year, Kaingoora. Now when you're dealing with government agencies, the relationship takes a long time. And I always say, I use the term kaputikanga. We need Māori-like to have that time to have a cup of, 1,000 cup of teas before they're going to not let down their guard, but build that relationship. And relationships are really important. And that's where we come along, and we can build that relationship and meaningful engagement with our buyers like Kaingoora, Ministry of Education, Becca, and introduce the businesses that they want to work with. In this case, it took a good year. Sometimes these relationships can take a year until you actually get something over the line. But what we're looking for is that sustainable pipeline of work with to be contract holder instead of subbies all the time. So with Reed Builders, awesome company. We've got a couple up in the far north. Yackers is another one, where we're able to do introductions to government agencies, and then they win the work on their own merit. They still have to meet all the criteria of our businesses. There are no handouts. They still have to go through the criteria of RFPs and the tender writing, the health and safety insurance levels, but we find support for our businesses to get there in the end. So yeah, Reed Builders was an awesome company that I got to work with, and the fact, you know, for them, it's more than just if they win the contract. If they can be the contract holder, we know that he then goes on to our Amotai database and looks for subcontractors, others within our community that he can subcontract to. That was just one of the many examples. We've got lots up here. Some of our corporates, Becca, have a new office in Whangarei. They were looking for commercial cleaners, caterers, removal companies for the fit out. Our buyers are really active, and they're looking for all types of businesses to engage. And my biggest advice is to be on the platform. In order to be seen, you've got to be on our platform so we can make those connections for you. Is that enough talking, Polly?
Halfway, all good, Miss. And just following up on one of the comments about Becca that Missy said, I was in my regional hui with Becca yesterday. And, you know, when we think about our buyers, the whole construction and infrastructure sector is always really quite saturated. And we have a lot of different suppliers on our database. And, you know, it was really cool to sit in a meeting with Becca yesterday, and they talked about, okay, we want to look at all of your local businesses that, you know, could be on our health and wellness page on our intranet. And so I was, you know, I've been meaning to get a mihi whakatau done with one of my businesses down here, Anytime Fitness, and say, you know what, Becca wants to look at you guys and talk to you about a corporate rate for their office. You know, so it doesn't matter what type of business, if you're a gym, if you're a barber shop, you know, whatever type of business you are, we encourage you to jump on the platform, because Missy and I are always having conversations and we're just like, oh, I've got the perfect business for you. So yeah, definitely keen to have you guys sign up.
And a big part, one more thing is, if when these opportunities come up, we usually have maybe a week to respond. And if we haven't got the businesses there, that opportunity goes to mainstream. So we are unlocking the opportunities, but we've got to have the businesses with confidence, capability, capacity to actually win the work.
Fine. Beautiful. So this is just a snapshot of our team. So we have our supplier diversity leads scattered throughout the regions. We have our Auckland team, which is where our GM, Ariana, sits, and also our administrative team. But yeah, specifically for Te Tai Tokerau, you have the wonderful Missy Armstrong. She's there to support you throughout all your procurement and supply diversity needs. And, you know, because of the other portai that she wears, she might be able to connect you into other spaces also. So take a screenshot of this at Te Whānau or whatever it is you need, and that way you can get in contact with Missy to unlock the benefits of being on the Amotai register. Pretty much from us at Te Whānau, that's our little kōrero we wanted to share with you today. We're really excited to be working with Digital Boost in this space and to share our kaupapa throughout the motu. Really grateful, Angela, for that, and happy to answer any questions that might have come through, Rich. So kia ora tātou.
Kia ora. Thank you, guys. Really awesome to hear what you're doing out there in the community, especially just around unlocking the supply chain and the buyers and that sort of thing as well, so that you can increase that diversity of opportunities within our region and across the rohi. So yeah, thank you both. One question I've got, you mentioned your partners and things like that. Are you currently connected up with the Ministry for Pacific Peoples as well up here?
We do have a contact up here.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm aware they've got some funding available for Pacifica businesses.
Yeah, that sort of, yep.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of his name, but I do have a contact if anybody needs one. I'll have to find his details.
That's fun. Yeah, no, I just wondered as well. I've got a contact as well I can connect you up with as well. So just thought I would check and connect the dots there. And so how does one actually register for Amotai?
Yeah, very simply, you know, I just saw Angela put the website page in there. On there in the top right hand corner, it's got a little tab called Join Amotai or Become a Member.
Yep.
And from there, you just click the down box and become a supplier. It's about a 5 to 7 minute process. People look at the list and think it's quite daunting, but it's not. You don't have to pull out your financials to say, oh, it was, you know, don't have to pull out your shareholding and have all your deeds and things. It's just, hey, give us a snapshot. Give us a snapshot of what your business looks like. Here's some drop down options. And so it's just click and pop, click and pop.
So they're not printing out all the bank statements and everything like that, and bringing all the receipts in and that. Okay.
No, it's, you know, okay, rough estimates in these spaces. You know, roughly do you remember was your last insurance? And as we meet with you after that registration space, we kind of, you know, go through your profile and be like, oh, okay, so you know, you said on here you have 6 FTE. Is that quite accurate? Oh, actually, I just hired 2 other guys last week, so that's probably 8 FTE now. I was like, oh, cool. And we would encourage, so I like to talk with my suppliers about being an active supplier. And being an active supplier, I think I might have got that from Missy, was all about how up to date or how current your profile is. Because, you know, simple example, just like with Becca, they picked up a videographer off the database in my region. They didn't come through me and say, hey, Paul, do you know any good videographers? They went to the database, saw a profile, looked at the profile and said, can you set us a meeting up with this person? And I'm like, hey, I'd love to.
Yeah.
So yeah, being an active supplier is a big part of, you know, getting a lot of momentum within Amotai as well.
Great, thank you for that. Look, I think you've answered some of the other questions already, just in terms of the types of businesses that you're looking to collaborate with. It sounds like it's pretty broad. You know, the more the merrier. Just obviously come and have that corridor with you both, and take the conversation from there, really. So yeah, thank you both very much.
50% shareholding. If you're a 50% shareholder of your business and you're Māori or Pacifica, we want you.
Yeah,
you know, we want to add you to the national database of Māori Pacifica verified businesses, and you know there will be opportunities that'll come up. We'll find one that may not happen like in the next week. It may not happen in 6 months, but we have conversations all the time with our buyers, and we're like, actually, we've got the perfect business for you. So, can't wait.
Kia ora. Thank you, Angela. I think that's us for time, so I'm going to hand back to you.
Thanks, Rich. It's a little bit like Amotai is a little bit like a dating app, isn't it? You've got to get your profile right and be matched up with the perfect buyer and supplier. I'm sure some of us can relate to that. Thank you again, Paul, for joining me. I know you've done a number of these, and every time I'm pretty sure I feel like I hear something new. So thanks again for joining us. Great to have you on. Missy is that regional representation, and I'm sure if any of our audience needs some support, they can reach out to you. If you're not quite ready for that support and you want to come back at a later date and you forget who to connect to, please head over to Rich at Connected and he will pop you in touch with Missy or the team at Amotai.
Kia ora.
Digital Boost will help you with your digital transformation journey. And if you are doing digital well in your business, you're using digital tools and you want to be showcased on our platform, please reach out to us. We'd love to pop you into our real world stories. Excuse me, I cannot talk this afternoon. Too much coffee. So please join us on Digital Boost, and we will. We'd love to showcase some Northland businesses on the Real World Stories section of Digital Boost. We also have Checkable there for you, which is a free diagnostic tool. Just pop in your website for your organisation, and we will run a full digital footprint and give you a diagnostic feedback. Printable for making an action plan for your next steps on your digital transformation as well. So we try to give it to you in little bite-sized chunks so it's not too overwhelming. And if you need support with implementing anything, we have a customer support team there who are waiting to help you. That does bring our session to a close. So thanks again to the Amotai team for joining us this afternoon. We do have the Ministry of Social Development up next, talking about their employment and business support products and funding. IR will be joining us at 2:30, and then we will wrap up the conference with yours truly, and hopefully I can speak better by 3:15 this afternoon when I have to run my session. It's been wonderful to have you this afternoon. See you again shortly.
Ka kite.
Kia ora.